Don't listen to anyone who's not where I want to be. There are people in my life and people in your life who love you, who care about you, who are not where you want to be. You will never, ever be financially independent. Never be free at last until you begin to work for success. Welcome to another episode of Free at Last. It's just me and you today. I want to have a private conversation with you. I want to talk about what it takes to be financially independent. And I'm completely aware that for most folks, this is simply just not going to happen. And it's not going to happen because of luck, circumstances, the color of our skin, how young we are, how old we are, how short, fat, skinny. It's not going to happen for those reasons. It's not going to happen because you're unwilling to do what it takes. And I just want to be really clear about that with you. We bring in guests into this show. We do episode after episode with very successful people who are financially independent. They're sharing with you the secrets of financial independence, what they did to become financially independent. Today, the reason it's just me and you is I want to talk about the meanest, nastiest boss I ever worked for. This guy, virtually impossible. When I first started working for this guy, I hated him, absolutely hated him. I didn't think I could last a week or two. He was demanding. He would actually call me on vacation, wouldn't leave me alone. I'd be with my wife and he'd continue to harass me on vacation, to tell me what I wasn't doing. To actually go as far as to tell me who I could not hang out with, who I should hang out with. He would actually tell me about relationships I could no longer keep. He would interrupt my meals with conversations. He would have me step away from dinner to have further conversations. A total ass. You may have a boss like that. Maybe some of you work for this boss today. My boss's name is Success. Today, I love working for him. Success pays real well. Has incredible benefits. Success, my boss, lets me control my schedule, finally. All my dreams are actually happening now because I work for him. Success. He doesn't judge me based on my upbringing, my age. He doesn't care that I'm young or old, the color of my skin. He doesn't get into that. Doesn't even seem to recognize it. It's just not part of the way Success thinks. All he wants is all I have, and that's enough. Doesn't care how smart I am either, as long as I put in the action. He demands discipline. I can tell you this, as I get better, he pays better. I don't even have to go in and have a negotiation. I don't sit down for quarterly reviews. As I get better, he pays better. He lets me take care of my family. I now prioritize my life around the things that have meaning to me, and he doesn't care. As long as I pay his price, I get the life I want. We used to fight when I first started working for him. Today we're partners. I look up to him. He makes me want to be better. I promise you, this is the life you want. This is all possible if you will come work for Success. Pay its price. It starts ugly. You got to do the work. Allow your efforts time to compound. Be ruthless in defending your partner. Be loyal to Success and its principles. Be fierce in your accountability. One thing I'll add, Success was with me when I failed. Success knew my weaknesses. He's committed only when I'm committed. He reminds me of my potential. And I listen. I read the books he recommends. I remain coachable. I move at the speed of instruction. Big tip for me. I don't listen to anyone who's not where I want to be. There are people in my life and people in your life who love you, who care about you, who are not where you want to be. He taught me I can't listen to them. They'll distract me from my path. Everything in my life now is dedicated to the price Success demands. It changed me. It became easier for me to follow his commands. Imagine a different life by going to work for Success and paying its price. I want to tell you a quick story. You've all been to Rodeo Drive, I hope. You've at least seen it on television. Maybe you've looked it up on the internet. There's another drive called Worth Avenue down in Palm Beach. It's similar to Rodeo. These are places where people walk and window shop. And they walk, and maybe with their spouse, they hold hands. And what's interesting about these places, and maybe you've been in a different one, but they've got these windows where they push the Rolexes or the Patek's or the Richard Miller watches out into the window. And those windows allow passive passersby to stop and kind of look and dream for a moment about those items. Maybe it's a diamond ring, whatever it is, it's clearly been pushed out into the window box so that you don't have to come in. You get to walk by and kind of window shop. That's where they get the idea from. Well, there's a few people on the planet who walk by and then dare to actually go into the store. They actually dare to go in and take a look at the item. And then there's the salesman who comes to them and says, what can I help you with? And there's a few of you who say, we're interested in this. And they pull it out of the case and they set it up on top of the glass. And there's a few of you who dare to actually roll over the price tag and actually look at what it cost. And the reason there's few of you who do that is because there's few of you who are willing to pay the price necessary to have those items. And so most people, this is the same percentage who will never become financially independent. There's a vast majority who simply let the window box be enough. They dream for a second and then get back to reality and continue walking. And they just almost at a point in their life no longer become distracted by the window box anymore. And they actually avoid Rodeo, they avoid Worth Avenue, and they avoid places that remind them of things they cannot have. Then there's a few of you who love these things. They go in, they ask, they roll the price over because they're willing to pay the price. This is what success is all about. Are you the one that goes to the nice neighborhood? Not the one you live in, but the one you want to live in. You go through the gates. You sit back maybe a little bit and wait till the gate opens. So you kind of jet in behind the person who actually lives there. And you go through and you look and you window shop and you curb shop. And you sit there and imagine who lives in these homes and what price did they pay to be there. I remember doing this as a kid. My mother, we would leave church, and if we went right out of the parking lot, we were headed home to our neighborhood. But if we went left, I knew what Mom was up to. We were headed to the nice neighborhood, and we didn't have any business being there. We didn't have any business chasing through the gate behind somebody who actually lived there, but we did that. And I love that we did that. I love that my mom made us do that. And I love that I was in the front seat of the car looking at these homes and looking at these neighborhoods and imagining for myself, what does it take to live here? Are all these people rich? How did this happen? Where does this money come from? These were the thoughts I was having. I just want you to know, until you decide to hire success into your life and be accountable to your new boss success, you've got to bring him in. It's you that brings him in. Nobody's going to demand these things of you other than success. You've got to decide success should be my boss. I want it to be my boss. I will pay its price. That's what's required. Financial independence is a journey that begins with this decision. I will pay the price. Once you've begun that decision, it now takes time for your efforts to compound. And that doesn't mean starting and stopping all the time. Where you start and you decide, I don't like this is uncomfortable. I'm changing my mind. I'm quitting and starting somewhere else. This is what most people do. They stop and start and stop and start. They never get momentum. Success requires momentum. Success requires time. And so I want you to understand, make a conscious, intentional decision. Figure out a career that will pay you commissions. Get yourself in a position to earn lots of commissions so that you eat what you kill. You don't have to negotiate with a boss who will pay you the least amount possible to keep you employed there. That's how it works with bosses. They pay you the least amount possible. Remember, when you work for a boss, they're taking money off their balance sheet from their potential profit margins to pay you. So they're not going to pay a lot. If they do pay a lot, it's temporary. It's because you've got some unique, valuable skills. But I promise you, those unique, valuable skills should be put to work with your new boss' success. And then you begin to carve out your destiny, your life, your dreams, your plans. You will never, ever be financially independent, never be free at last until you begin to work for success. You've got to fire the real boss, the one you're working for now. You've got to fire them. If you're not 1099 employed, where everything that you do, the marketplace rewards you commensurate to that value that you're bringing to the marketplace. If that's not the equation you're involved in, you shouldn't even drive into the nice neighborhood because it's not possible. The people who live behind the gates, the people who go into the Lamborghini dealership, go into the Ferrari dealership, go into the Rolls-Royce dealership, order these beautiful cars and yachts and airplanes and live in these wonderful houses. Those folks work for themselves. They build empires. They build businesses. They do not work in a business, okay? The vast majority work in their businesses. And so you've got to get yourself on the right side of the balance sheet here, where you've got a balance sheet and there are people working for you. This is where financial independence begins. Once you get the balance sheet right, when you got yourself in a position to earn commissions, you make success your boss, and it is ugly in the beginning. It's nasty. You're going to fight. Success, remember, was with you when you failed. Remember, success was with you when it wasn't working. Success reminds you that you've made commitments before and broken them. Success reminds you of the things that you need to correct about you to actually have a shot at financial independence. This is what I wanted to share with you today. I wanted it to be just you and I wanted this to be a conversation we could just have about reality, because I've got lots of guests lined up who are very successful. They're going to share with you what they think their secrets are to be financially independent. I love their stories. We've got several already recorded. We're going to share with you starting next week. But these stories won't matter. They're not just entertainment. They're not just curious stories. I love hearing that guy's story. Well, it's time you start living your story. It's time to write your story. It's time to tell your story. And none of that can begin until we had this conversation and you do the things that success requires. That's what I wanted to share with you. I'm your host, James Catledge. Thank you for taking a few moments with me. Share this episode. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you here next week with another fantastic guest on Free at Last. Thank you.